Do you read me over?
Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Com Tower. This is Pacho. Do you read me over?
Pacho, this is Com Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower, Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence a field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. I say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah! Get some. Hurrah! What's going on, everybody? Friday night's Eve, baby Friday. Well, goddamn, it's almost the weekend. Hey, we got a really good show for you. Welcome back. Had an amazing week this week, and obviously the last weekend. For those of you who follow me on all the other social media platforms, I went to a Marine Corps birthday, and that was pretty cool. Cool and kind of nostalgic, and among other things. That was the topic of today. But before we get started, let me just get all the pleasantries out of the way. When was the last? Let me ask you something. If there was a way where you can maximize your your VA claims and benefits, where you can protect your family with the right protection vehicle, as well as put something aside so that later on in retirement you don't find yourself depending on just your VA claims, maybe Social Security, if that still will be a thing, in the next couple of years, among other things, and have something waiting for you there that you can really benefit from, among other things, then I can help. Reach out to me in the show. I will help you put certain, strategies and techniques, and then give you information right then and there, that tangible information that you can apply right away, so you can start protecting yourself and your family and have a better future. So it's all right there's the link to my on the show description. There's my link tree. Let's get on a Zoom call, and we can have 1 hour strategy session. It's free, complimentary. We can have a chat. If something makes sense, we can talk about further steps. If not, then that's okay too. I'll move on. And by the way, we're also, if you're open to make an extra, let's say your VA claims and benefits is it's not enough at the moment, and you find yourself short, and the money coming in is not enough, I can help. Give me a call. We're looking to grow our office. Doesn't matter where you're at in the United States. It could be, all the way in California, all the way to New York. Doesn't matter. And by the way, veterans, service members, spouses with ID, we're actually waiving the background check fee, and you can get some state funded licenses and make some real money with that. It does take work. So let's jump on a call, and let me give you all the information and go from there. Okay. In addition to that, I also help veterans put in for the VA claims and benefits. I use AI, ChatGPT. Yes, there are hundreds of other people out there that do that. The difference between them and I is that I will show you how to do it yourself, so that once you go through the process, you can continue doing it all on your own, and and you no longer need me. So again, it's all, go on my link tree, put yourself on my calendar. We can have a session. Let's talk about a few things. And again, if it makes sense, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. All right. But you definitely need to apply for your VA claims and benefits. And you can see on my LinkedIn some testimonials of veterans that I've gotten from 90 to 100, from 10% to 60%, so on and so forth. Those are real people. Okay. So again, no promises. I can get, there'll be an increase. I just don't know how much, but nonetheless, we can keep going on it. All right. So that's pretty much it for all the pleasantries. And don't forget to apply for your VA claims and benefits. And follow me on social media. I'm on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Again, go on my link tree. You can follow me in all my other social media platforms. I've been putting out a lot of good content as far as veterans related and such. So the bottom line is you need to get educated. Don't depend on others, but I will give you some of the information that's out there. All right. And look, if you want to be a podcaster down the road, you can go to sitchradio.com and get with Brian Colbert. The man is an amazing individual and he can get you there. So huge shout out to everybody that's posted some really cool comments. I love it when people put stuff on here. So, and look, at the end of the day, if you support the Constitution, right, freedom of speech, right to bear arms, doesn't matter whether you agree or disagree, doesn't matter. That's what we're all here to do. Let's have a conversation. That's great too. Support the show or support a show. Go to sitchradio.com and follow somebody. All right. So let's kick off the show. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. As I mentioned, I went to the Marine Corps ball and it was great. We had an amazing time. Thank you, Jasenia, to you as well. Go ahead and DM me, shoot your information, and we can have a conversation after the show. I'll start responding back to all the amazing comments. Okay, but so I went to the Marine Corps ball, and hey, by the way, the uniform still fits. If you haven't seen on social media, I mean, I still PT despite all the injuries and all the things that we get from the service. I haven't expanded out of my uniform, like some of us have. I mean, and hey, look, things happen. I get it. I'm not here to fat shame anybody, so don't get your feathers all ruffled up. It's just for me. It's always been a thing that I just, I wanted. It's pretty cool to be able to wear the uniform. So, and we look pretty sharp. I mean, the wife threw on a really sexy dress. God damn, she looked good. And so we went to the Hard Rock Cafe and we were strutting our stuff. It was really cool, walking around and obviously people thanking me for my service. I don't know. It just, after all this time, to be quite honest, after all this, I don't know, maybe some of you can attest to this. It feels kind of weird saying, thank you, so to speak. It's like, I didn't join to get thanked for what I did. It's just, I don't know, most of us that, raised our right hand, to me, it was just kind of somewhat of a calling. One, I joined in the late 80s, early 90s time frame. So back then, the recruiting commercials, I mean, they were quite, if you think about it now, they were quite comical. I mean, it's a Marine, fighting freaking giant chess pieces. This is like in the inception of CGI, whatever else. And then some other dude is fighting a lava dragon or some shit. And it climbs up this mountain in the sword manual. And I mean, that's the time that I joined. But, to me, it was a calling. I didn't want to stay home and be a whopper flopper, so to speak, and just kind of do the same shit that a lot of people were doing, going to college. And going to college just wasn't me. So, again, I just felt it. So, I don't know. It just, to me, still kind of, when somebody thanks you for my service, it's just, it just kind of for me like, thank you or you're welcome. You know what I'm saying? It's just something I did, and I'll do it all over again, despite everything that's going on. So, but it was cool. It was cool hanging out around young Marines. I had a staff sergeant, hey sir, what did it take for you to become a warrant officer? Blah blah. Obviously I give my contact information. I always love talking and mentoring troops, so and just sharing the knowledge and how to get from point A to point B, whether in the service or out of service. It's just something that I don't know, just something that comes pretty natural to me. Maybe that's why in the industry that I'm in, because I love talking to people. I love just getting to know, even whether we agree or disagree. Doesn't matter, even politically. I mean, I love having conversations and going back and forth. So but it's cool that the tradition of being a Marine uh, is still there. And I'm just saying it as a whole for the Marine Corps per se. Us, we're just kind of funny like that. That obviously November, right before November, you'll start seeing social media posts, and we're just kind of going ape shit about the birthday coming up. You know, uh, not to point fingers at my other, you know, fellow service members from the other armed forces. It just we're kind of funny like that. So don't hate us for it. That's kind of how we're wired. So, but it was really cool just hanging out around young service members. Um, we got to read obviously we heard John A. Legern's message. I did that for you guys last week as well. Uh, you know, what does that message really mean to me? It just shows that our beliefs, our core, and no pun intended, our core beliefs and just things that are engraved in us. I'm sure that as you go through the process through Army boot camp, Navy, all of us go through some type. I mean, let's call it for what it is, some type of indoctrination where we it just kind of it's ingrained in us. We associate as a soldier, as a sailor, as an airman, whatever. So for me, even to this day, I mean, it hits hard. I mean, shit, even more so now. It hits home that I am in that other side of the fence from the outside looking in, so to speak. As a retiree, or there's no such thing as a former Marine, whatever. I'm just saying that as somebody who was active duty for so many years, it hits a lot different, and I guess a lot heavier, so to speak. When you hear that message, it's like, fuck, this is what I did for 20 plus, for an entire lifetime. And then, now being over here, it just seems kind of surreal, per se. But the legacy doesn't die, because it's still pretty cool how things just kind of evolve along the way. And, when I first came in to, where things are now, I mean, these last couple of years, I know we all tend to come somewhat full circle, or we kind of start aligning now with our parents, and we start seeing them in a different way, and in a different level, because I mean, I find myself now being, my dad's, my dad, and even my mom, my mom's age. And I remember when I was younger and I was talking to him at this age, and it's just kind of like, oh my God, I'm at that age where it was, it's, and I'm getting ready to talk about this. And this is the other piece of of the show. It's just that, am I the old guy now? Which, but, it, I was, when they did so when you do the cake cutting ceremony, let me just kind of preface what I'm about to say here. When you do the cake cutting ceremony, it has, obviously they roll in the cake, very somber music, which I've done in the show. I mean, if those of you who follow the show and heard me done the whole Marine Corps thing with the somber music. So they bring in this cake. It's got the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, and blah blah. So I'll take out an NCO sword and they'll cut the piece. And by the way, I used to do these ceremonies as part of because Veterans Day tends to land always after the Marine Corps birthday. So when I was at Corp working with a corporate company, a lot of the other service members used to just kind of hate on us Marines, which was only a group of us. I think it was 5 at my last company. So I would bring in my sword, and I would buy a cake on my own, and just, and they're like, oh, this is Veterans Day. This is not the Marine Corps birthday. I'm like, well, it just sucks to suck, because, it's not my fault that they're celebrating on our birthdays. So whatever, feel free to stay. But anyways, then you have the young Marine and the old Marine. The young Marine is showing our, I guess our dedication to the future, passing on tradition, so on and so forth. And then they give the cake. I think it's first the oldest, and then the youngest. Yeah, young, oldest. A tradition, so on and so forth. So this year, or at this ball, the oldest Marine. I mean, that guy. I was 2 months old in this month. So, but I gotta say that I look younger than him, so I must be doing some shit right. Uh, my wife and I, we just kind of looked at each other. We just kind of chuckled, like, "Oh wow, hey," She's like, "Babe," and she kind of poked her. She's like, "Babe, you need to be here next year." I was like, "Okay, calm down." So, and even the sergeant major, the district sergeant major, uh, the guy's like 10 years younger than I am, and the dude has got a Purple Heart. I mean, so shout out to Sar Major right here at recruiting station Fort Lauderdale. I mean, amazing ball. I mean, great. I had an amazing time. So, but it was really cool. So usually, about, I don't know, 10 years ago, no, more than that. I mean, I'm gonna say like 20 or 15 to 20 years ago, the sergeant major and the commandant was started to put out these videos, around the Marine Corps ball, like, hey, hoorah, very hoorah, you know, bark, bark, woof, woof, 75 type of videos, like, and it's in 1775, blah, blah, Marine. I gotta give, huge shout out to Sergeant Major and Commandant. I mean, the video this year was pretty freaking tight. I mean, and it was raining. Sergeant Major was out there. The Commandant, they were getting, and hey, look, if it ain't raining, we ain't training. I mean, it was pretty fucking cool seeing the leadership out there in the rain and the deliveries, amazing. But and a lot of stuff, the technology, just and stuff that Marines do nowadays. Service, all across the services, just what Marines do nowadays. I mean, shit, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's very technical. I mean, doesn't matter whether you're infantry, support, artillery, doesn't matter. I mean, what service members as a whole do nowadays, it's not like, oh, you're a dumb grunt, or you're a dumb, if or you're a pogue, so to speak. I mean, things have changed so much over the last couple of years, and I was lucky to have some part of that, bringing on some of that new technology on board when it came to rolling stock and equipment. But there was a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of sadness inside. That shit. By the time the Marine Corps ball was over, I mean, I was ready to just go back to the recruiting office and, hey, sign me up. I was ready to whip it on and do it all over again. So, I don't know. So it was just kind of reflecting on the whole pride, the humility, again, nostalgia, and everything else. So, but time keeps moving on. I mean, that's the one thing that we're guaranteed: time and time and taxes. I mean, and I read something today. Treat time like it's your only currency, and like you only have a little bit of it. You know what I'm saying? So, and as I found, kind of treating it as such, because it can be so precious, but it can also just be gone. I mean, at the blink of an eye. So, you know, you again, it's just the whole I'm not gonna lie, it did hit me a little bit because everybody looked so freaking young. I mean, there were gunnies and stash items with 2 hash marks on there, so they were late 20s, early 30s, whatever, but they just look so freaking young. Um, so I just kind of felt that I'm getting away further and further. Although great hanging out with Marines and sharing that camaraderie and all that good stuff, but I just felt so like I'm getting away from the flagpole, so to speak, in the sense that it was just looking at them from a different standpoint. Like, fuck, that was me, that was my life for 20 plus years, 11 years ago. Shit, I mean, Jesus, that just hit me right now. uh, life after service, obviously, the things that we used to pay mind to all the time, like, going out there and running yourself to the dirt, through your pushing yourself through your injuries, uh, taking Motrin and Tylenol like they're Skittles, and no pain, no gain. Uh, you know, putting your Marines and everybody else before you. All those things is just the things that we do because the leaders that we are, the people, and how we're wired, and to the things that we worry about now. I mean, it just kind of, I tend to just kind of look back at, I'm like, man, I can't believe I used to worry about this or about that, or even not being out. It's like, oh my god, why when people make a big deal, or I'm scrolling through social media or whatever the case, um, you know, I think like, man, you're really worried about this or you're crying about that. Doesn't matter what it is. It's like, man, do you know that? And I can honestly say this. I mean, and growing up, I would hear, oh, there's kids in Africa, back, I've known older people. It's like, oh, in China, people are starving, blah blah, or whatever. In my time, growing up was Africa, Ethiopia, Live Aid, all those things. But I have literally seen starving kids, all that stuff from my travels through the military, in Iraq. I got deployed to Africa at one point in time, and yes, I mean there are a lot of areas with extreme shit. Even where I'm from in Colombia, I mean extreme freaking poverty. So it just again it makes me reflect, like, man, the things that we worry about now, or what I see people just bitching and crying about. It's like, fuck, man, you have absolute zero knowledge of what's outside your bubble, so to speak, because there's an entire world out there that has no food, no water, no electricity, no nothing, fuck, not no internet. Just there's an entire world out there, and you're crying about your SNAP benefits being taken, and when you clearly, if you're posting something, you clearly have social media and whatever. And don't get me wrong, being on food stamps, I mean, there were times financially that even in the service members, as service members, we rated food stamps, and we took it, we benefited from that. And I'm not here to, there are people that need it. However, there's a lot of people that don't. I mean, let's just be fucking honest. So again, when I see things like that, and just people, regardless of how you feel about this, this presidential leadership, the previous, or any for that matter, because I can sit here and tell you there's a lot of former presidents that I did not support or on my personal level. However, because of the uniform that I wore, I respected them and supported them, in front of the masses. I mean, my personal opinion didn't really matter. So again, we just kind of worry about it. It just I have a different perspective on things now and how people just we worry about shit that I'm like, man, relax. You know what I'm saying? So so you know so I guess how and I just see Marines or service members posting stuff on social media nowadays. I guess it's just cool to see how how things have changed and with times and everything else. I mean, posting things when I came in was friggin' unheard of. I mean, I come from a time where fucking computers were the white ones, where you still use MS DOS. You had to, the analog thing and whatever else. I mean, it was it's unheard of. But just seeing how service members are using TikTok and social media to kind of get the word out there about what we do and also so hey, look, things change and time changes, right? But there are some mental health challenges that we go through. I mean that, and I'll be completely honest. Now that uh, I put on the uniform. I shave my face, all that stuff. It just I saw myself on the uniform, and for the first time, it just was like, oh wow, hey, who is this? Who is this gentleman that I'm looking at? Um, you know, in the mirror, and people tell me, holy shit, you look just like your dad. And although cool that I get that compliment, on the other side, it's just kind of it's just kind of surreal, being told those things that because now I am that older individual, so there are some mental aspects that go with it, as we age out and trying to reason and come to terms with it, so to speak. So I guess because we got to, there are some struggles because obviously I'm not that individual that that young man that went to war, deployed, was the oorah oorah, bark bark, woof woof type of person. Um, Nowadays, and obviously I have to be careful what I do, how I do it, because after multiple surgeries all over my body, it's all about maintenance now, and not really, I just can't keep beating myself up because I want to keep moving forward and last as long as I can. So, we this no, I don't want to say it like that because I hate when people say the new normal. Uh, as we transition onto a different stage in life, into our later years per se, so to speak, we can't forget who we were. We're just kind of we're going through a transition phase and morphing into something different, uh, because that warrior is still inside us, right? You know, because there's a difference between being a man of peace and being harmless. Being a man of peace, and I say man and woman, being a man of peace is somebody that has been trained, gone, done the whole forged through fire, so to speak. Going through, vetted through boot camp, and taught all these things, how to shoot a rifle, whatever else. Whether you've deployed or not, that's neither here nor there, because the training is training, and being able to still maintain that work, knowing what you can do when if things go sideways, you can still bring that individual out. Whereas you're just somebody that all the well, I didn't want to join the military because I would have seen red if that drill sergeant or drill instructor would have gotten in my face. Being one of those dumbasses and then being fucking harmless. I mean, that you. Bottom line of what I'm saying, I'm trying not to be nice and saying, there's a difference between being dangerous and at peace and being a bitch. I mean, plain and simple. So, so don't let society's softness erase your edge and who you were, because you earned that grit. You earned that right. Whether you wore the Eagle Globe and Anchor, whether you were a fellow shipmate, a soldier, doesn't matter. I hope that makes sense. So, and look, the other thing is that it was really cool to see after all that, because we only stuck around. There's only so much fucking Bad Bunny. No pun intended. If you like the dude, and hey, I get it, he's fellow Hispanic. Not my cup of tea, to be quite honest. I just don't see it. My kids love it, or some of our kids like him. I don't particularly, enjoy. I can't understand what the fuck he's saying. I mean, to be quite honest, but hey, good for you, man. You do you, boo boo. But there's only so much Bad Bunny I can take, and music. I mean, every once in a while they will play some really good jams from back in the day. I guess I'm at that age where, hey, Biggie Smalls is back in the day, a little bit of Tupac, a little bit of salsa, all that good stuff. Good music, I guess. Again, maybe I'm just at that age with, my parents, but it was really cool being able to wear the uniform, sharing the good times with with fellow service members, and walking around the Hard Rock Casino here in Florida. People saying, "Hey, thanks for your service. We appreciate it." Blah blah. It was just really cool. Again, kind of still to this day, somewhat weird getting used to that hey thing, but it was on the appreciation piece that hey, people still haven't forgotten certain things, and that what we did and what you service members do that are still out there still matters. So. Thank you. I want to say to Recruiting Station, Fort Lauderdale, and all the Marines out there, happy birthday. I know there's still a lot of Marine Corps balls going on because I see, on my social media thread, people are going to these things. It's really cool seeing some of, a lot of you that's still putting on the uniform and still fitting into them. Good for you. That's amazing. Happy birthday, Marines. Thank you for those of you Marines, as well as other branches. Thank you for what you do. What you do still matters. It's appreciated from us. And thanks for your service. Thank you for what you do. Hoorah, Semper Fi, get some. I think this is a great place to index. So with that being said, everybody, I think I'm just going to, the one last thing. Hey, if you've been struggling, suicide, want to harm yourself, don't do that. Reach out. Let me talk you off the ledge. Let's have a conversation. I do have a lot of resources that I'm plugged in. Combat Vet Vision, Chief Siebert, and everybody else. We have a lot of people that can help you and get you tuned up so that you can get back into our community. So, with that being said, I just want to say hoorah, get some ice to mas, daisuki. I'll see you next week, everybody.